To accept that. Say, yeah, all good that it's recorded, and you'll get these recordings. Steph, that's totally okay. Your camera's off. No worries. I'm sorry you've got a bug, darling. Yeah, there's all sorts of nasty things going around. You feel better soon. 8 a.m. in Montreal. Sandra, welcome. I loved Montreal or Montreal. we, were, we were there last year. I loved it. The food, what a city. And yoga in like these beautiful buildings. All right, let's begin. So hello and welcome. I am so delighted that you are here. We have 3 days to spend together as a room full of yoga teachers, which is just my favorite thing to do anyway, talking about how we can get more beautiful souls into your yoga classes, how we can diversify your yoga offerings so that they are in alignment with what lights you up, what you are most passionate about, and go through the pillars of a profitable yoga business. So I am absolutely chuffed you're here. We do this once a year, usually in December, but this December felt really sleepy. And you know, it's good to do something exciting in January. So welcome. Laura, you're like outside somewhere with blue sky. Type in the comment, where are you bringing the outdoors and the blue sky from? I'm wordy. Cold and grey here. We can have guesses where they are whilst we wait. Portugal. Very nice. Beautiful. Alrighty, so I am going to put on a screen share so that we get through some good productive work today. But before we do that, were you able to get your workbooks? Oh, mine's still on the printer saying that. There we go. So you should have your workbook that you can download. I made it editable so you don't have to print it. But what I noticed is to actually make it editable, it opens in your Google Drive and then you have to download it and then open it from your download. So not be working on it like in Google. So if it's not letting you type in, it's probably because you've got it up in a web browser. Go to your download folder, and then you'll be able to open the PDF from there, and you can type in the boxes. But feel free to print it out or just write pen and paper as well, whatever helps you to engage with the material. Let me get my screen share on. Okay. Awesome. Fab. So hopefully you can see the screen share saying welcome to Pillars of a Profitable Yoga Business. And with that word profitable, what makes yoga profitable is not all about money. I am a massively heart-led human, and yoga classes need to be fulfilling emotionally, spiritually, through the connection with the community, and yes, being financially viable. So this is not just about the finances today. It's got to be about more than that. So pillars of a profitable yoga business that's financially viable and fulfills your soul. We have 3 days to go over this to break it down into bite-sized chunks. If we did this all in one lecture, it would be a little bit overwhelming, and an overwhelmed mind often doesn't then take action. So we're bringing this into chunks with homework and action steps that you can take. So we are today through to Saturday, 40 minutes each day roughly, and you've got a workbook for each day. Those of you that are here live today, there are bonuses each day for being live. So the bonus today is that you get my full complete template, Canva template kit to launch a class. So I will give you a link to that at the end. Make sure you grab that link, because it won't go out on email. So I only know you've been here live if you get that link out of the chat. But if you're not here live, do not prepped. There are prizes for everyone to win, and the prizes are great. So there's prizes for doing your homework. All right. So you are most definitely in the right room if you're a yoga teacher. If you're not a yoga teacher, I know someone asked me if this would be relatable to Reiki. Yes, of course. What we're learning today is good, solid business advice that is relatable to any heartfelt business. But my love and passion is for yoga. My love and passion is supporting yoga teachers. This is always going to be tailored to yoga. But if you have any other side passion, put it into that as well. So if you wish to thrive as a yoga teacher, if you want to make a real difference to people in your community, I am about longevity, community, and doing good heart-led work. So this is not about quick wins. This is not about making money fast. This is about real difference to people in your community for long-term sustainable yoga classes that are doing good in the world. In the right place, if you want to establish a new class, so if you're brand new, like Leanne, Danny, you're going to be establishing your new classes soon. If you are not brand new and you've been doing this for a long time, and I'm looking at you, this is for you. You can go and grow the classes. You can expand the classes. You can put this into new and different offerings as well. Every year I launch something new in my business, whether it's an online course, a retreat, and I'm still coming back to the same stuff that I'm teaching you over these 3 days. If you want to build long-term relationships and grow with your students, I've been teaching yoga for 15 years, and many of my students have been with me for 10 plus, even 15 years, and they've grown with me. As my passion for yoga has changed, they have come on that journey to whatever I'm wishing to explore now. If you want to fill your yoga offerings, and I say offerings to broaden it. So if you want to fill your yoga classes, yoga workshops, yoga retreats, online courses, it's all the same, but you want to fill them with heartfelt, soul-conscious marketing. I cannot do anything that makes me feel ick. I cannot do anything that makes me feel uncomfortable. I cannot play games. I can't follow marketing buzz trends. I have to just sit with heartfelt, soul-conscious marketing. Great for brand new teachers and great for experienced teachers as well. So a couple of tips here. I have attended and run many an online course, and I know what helps me get more out, and that's having present focus and taking aligned action. So my tips, whether you're live with me or you're on replay, is to put your phone away. It is, unless you're watching this on your phone, obviously. It's really easy to get distracted and multitask. So I'd recommend putting your phone away, closing any tabs or distractions. That's really hard for me right now because we've just put an offer in on a house and I'm desperately waiting for the estate agent to ring me and accepted the offer, but close tabs, close distractions. If you can, I know some of you are poorly and some of you won't be able to, but if you're able to put your camera on and get the chat open. I notice if I have my camera off, I'm more likely to get distracted, pick up my phone, multitask. If my camera's on, I feel I can't do that. And let's open the chat. It's always great to see you already in there. Grab a journal, grab the workbook, and to get maximum value from today, be 100% engaged. Some of you know me, and I'm quite a full-on human. I give everything that's in my heart freely and with love. So my ask back on that is use it, take it, be engaged. Take everything you can away from today. So over these next few days, yes, Claire, take notes in your phone, crack on. We are going to be looking at the pillars of a sustainable yoga business. Today, we have to start with the serve and thrive mindset, which means we have a little more to cover today. Then we'll come into pillar 1, which is finding the gap. Tomorrow, we'll be creating your yoga offerings. Pillar 2, filling the gap. And then day 3 on Saturday is going to be strategy, marketing, and promo. It's all well and good, crafting these beautiful yoga offerings, but we often get stuck at not knowing how to tell people about them. So that's what day 3 is, communicating with the gap. As I said, you get bonuses for being here live. Today's bonus is my Canva template kits. Day 2 bonus is a yoga photography training. So how to take photographs that help attract people to your classes. And day 3, you get a £100 discount off my 12-week mentorship program if that is of interest. And then prizes for doing your homework. So the first prize for doing your homework is a one-to-one live coaching call with me. Second prize, one-to-one website audit, or if you don't have a website, social media. Third prize, you could pick any CPD, continual professional development course from my vault. Fourth prize, come and do a month of yoga with me on the online membership. To get the prizes, you just have to do your homework. That's all. Do your homework by 12 p.m. on Sunday and upload a snippet of it into your Facebook group. And I say a snippet so that you can write freely and not feel that it's going to be publicly read. But if you want it publicly read and get feedback, you can post all your homework. All right, loves. So some of you know me well. We've been doing this for many, 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 many years together. But I know some of you we have not met yet. So my name is Laura. I have been teaching yoga for 15 years. I find that intimidating, how long that's been. It feels like 5. I don't know where time goes. But yeah, I started when I was in my early 20s and I'm now 40. Full-time, so I teach full-time. I teach full-time for 13 years. So 2 of those years was part-time, cutting down my employed job and building up my classes. And then those last 13 years have been full-time and self-employed. I did do a little bit of working for the gyms, but it is very challenging to make full-time income or good income when you're teaching for the gyms, because obviously they don't pay such a great hourly rate. It is good if you just want to rock up, focus on the yoga and not have to do the business side. But if you actually want to make a good sustainable income, you really need those classes to be self-employed, so working for yourself. I run in-person classes, back to it this week. I have seen, I think, 140 students at in-person classes in 3 days. So I'm there in the village halls with you. But I also work online, those of you that teach online. So online memberships, online courses, I've got online weekly classes, run retreats worldwide. Some of you have been on them. I run a yoga festival. I run a 200-hour yoga teacher training, business mentor teachers, founded the Yoga Teacher Collaborative, and wrote the book Teaching Chair Yoga. I list that not to list off a real random list of things, but so you know whatever it is that you want to do in your yoga business, I've probably done something very similar because I've done a lot in 15 years, so my advice can be tailored and related to you. One of the main things I really want you to get is that if I can do it, so can you. There is absolutely nothing special about me, full stop, whatsoever. Okay, I have no clever tricks. I remember, like, when I started teaching 15 years ago, there were very few full-time teachers, and the classes I went to were not well attended. There were 5, 6 students, and all of my teachers said, it is not possible to make a full-time wage teaching yoga. So I had no role models for it. And they all said, it's just a nice hobby. But I wanted more impact. I wanted to help more people than that. So I didn't have any role models. I want to be that role model for you. And I want the Yoga Teacher Collaborative to be that role model for you, because there are many of us teaching full time or just being well rewarded. There's no tricks. There's nothing you don't have. If I can do it, so can you. Right. Before we dive into learning, let's come to our superpower that is yoga. So I'm going to take that screenshot off for just a second. And let's just land in our body, have a moment's meditation so that we are absorbing this information in our heart as well as just up in our brains. So finding a comfortable seat and bringing your hands into Chin Mudra, thumb and index finger lightly touching, allowing the eyes to lightly close. And just taking a moment to settle into yourself. Relax your face. Relax your shoulders. Relax your tummy. And just notice that breath as it flows in and out of your nostrils. Inviting the breath a little lower and deeper into you. As you bring your awareness down to your fingers in Chin Mudra, imagine you're holding your own attention there. Like you're holding a little rose petal. And as you hold your awareness, simply think to yourself, I am present. I am present. I am present. Bringing your hands into Hakini Mudra. So palms flat together, spread the fingers, pressing the fingertips together, but open up the palm of the hand. And let that sit in front of your diaphragm. Pressing the fingertips together, holding your presence, as if holding a rose petal between each fingertip now. As you feel the strength in your shoulders, in your arms, thinking to yourself, I am focused. I am focused. I am focused. And bringing your palms flat together at your heart, Anjali Mudra. As you think to yourself, I am heart-led. I am heart-led. I am heart-led. Releasing the hands, noticing what, if any, changes for just a moment of present awareness. Flickering the eyes open when you're ready. I think presence, focus, and being heart-led is really important. We must approach our business as an extension of our yoga practice and bring our yogic philosophy into our business, devotion, dedication, discipline, heart-led. So let's put that scare back on and get into some actual learning. Okay, so the Serve and Thrive model. This is what I've developed over 15 years of working out how to build my community. The Serve and Thrive model prioritizes real conversations, having real conversations with people, whether that is going out into your community, dropping flyers, putting up posters, making connections with the local restaurants, local cafes, local chiropractors, local massage therapists. Whether it's online, in the comments on your social media, having conversations with people, getting into the direct messages with people, exchanging emails, having real conversations with people. and with real people, real conversations with real people in your community, be that online or in person, to create real relationships that deliver real results. And this is the key. When your students get real results from being in yoga, they feel calmer, they feel more at ease, their anxiety decreases, their strength improves, their back pain eases. When they're seeing real results from coming into your yoga, and they feel they have a real relationship with you that was cultivated through having real conversations, this is what over time builds thriving yoga classes. It's not what's the newest hashtag on Instagram. It is the real. Then Serve and Thrive is always about thinking, I am a community builder. That is the job of a yoga teacher. Again, this doesn't matter if it's in person or online, you build communities. This was my first week back to teaching. I always take 4 weeks off over December. And I felt like my classes were a social club. Each class started a couple of minutes late because all of the students were chatting, they hadn't seen each other, the community was rebonding. But communities take time to build. You need patience. We can't just set up a class, give it 4 weeks, and then leave. We have to be patient with consistency and persistence. Communities grow one person at a time. If you are brand new to teaching yoga and there's a class when there's only one human, there is one human. Celebrate that human. Teach them the best damn yoga class you know how, and they'll be with you next week and they'll be with you 15 years later. Celebrate the one person at a time, because if 20 new students flood in, you can't make a real connection with them in that moment. One student at a time. Patience. We stop filling classes. We stop putting out posts just to get likes. We stop thinking about the shortcome. Oh my God, I didn't cover my hall hire tonight. You're building something. Businesses take time to build. We're not gaining followers. We're making relationships. We're not fixating on the income or the hourly rate. We focus on impact. How did I help someone today? What did I communicate through my yoga? How did someone's day a little bit brighter through coming to a yoga class today? And we build the community. This is one of my favorite yoga quotes from BKS Iyengar. Yoga is a light which once lit will never dim. The better you practice, the brighter your flame. I remember my first yoga teacher. I was at school. It was a friend's mum. I was 16. And she lit that in me. Still makes me emotional now. Oh. Cancer full moon. I've been emotional all week. She lit something in me, that teacher. And if she hadn't brought yoga into this little 16-year-old's life, my life would look very different. And she probably can't even remember that. But I want you to think now, and if you can remember their name, great. It hurts my heart. I can't remember her name. Who lit the light of yoga in your heart? Which teacher? Danny, I know you've just done this on teacher training where they had to write a letter to the person that did that, but write it down for me or just hold them in your mind. I want you to remember who lit the light of yoga in your heart. And then I want you to think about all the little, I call them unlit tea lights, all the people in the world who no one has lit that light for yoga in them yet. There hasn't been the opportunity, there hasn't been the time, there hasn't been the resources, there hasn't been the teacher. And I see in all these communities, these little unlit tea lights that are people that haven't had yoga brought to them yet. And when you're building your community, you are going out and you are lighting those candles. And then you are just the lighter. You just light the candle. The yoga does the rest. So keep that in mind. Who was that first teacher for you? And you're going to be that for other people. You are that for other people. So with that in mind, I'd love you to think of one person that you have positively touched through yoga. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you're not teaching yet. Leanne, you've just finished training to teach as a yoga teacher. You positively touched my life last year through yoga by being in my community. So it doesn't matter whether you're teaching yet, but I want you to think of one person whose life you positively touched through yoga. And I would love you to type their name, just their first name for privacy. Just type their first name in the chat. Let's see that chat fill up with a load of people's names that are ever so slightly better. Their life, their day, their moment, their breath was just ever so slightly touched through coming and experiencing yoga with you. Look at all those names. Okay, look at all those names. And this is what we have to remember. Those times when there's not as many people at the class as we thought, something didn't go to plan, remember the impact, not income, impact, and how your yoga made a difference to them. Love those names coming in. Okay. So in the pillars of a profitable yoga business, pillar 1, find the gap. Pillar 2, fill the gap. Pillar 3, market to the gap. Pillar 4, and a missing link in yoga, is good customer service. Good customer service. So today we're looking at pillar 1, find the gap. Teaching yoga, please, please, please hear this. Teaching yoga is not a saturated marketplace. It is not a saturated marketplace. I am a just patient human until someone says that yoga is saturated, and then it makes me sad, because it's not, okay? Teaching yoga is not a saturated marketplace. 7 p.m. Monday night vinyasa to able-bodied, fit and flexible people might be saturated in your town, okay? But until there is a yoga class that is available, accessible, appropriate to every single person in your community, yoga is not saturated. Yoga, 7 p.m. vinyasa yoga for very mobile people might be in your area, but there is not enough yoga for people who can't get up and down off the floor, people who don't want a strong vinyasa practice, people who don't want to go out in the evening, people who want the more spiritual practice, people who want the more philosophy practice. Their yoga is not saturated. And it's so important that you shift your mindset on that, because if you think that your yoga place is saturated, that mindset and belief will impact your action. You will do less marketing, you'll spread the word less, you'll put yourself out there less because you think it's saturated. Okay? And when your flyers don't work or there's not someone at class, you'll say it's because it's saturated, rather than thinking, okay, so this flyer didn't work. Was it the flyer? Was it the offering? Was it the time? Was it the place? What can I change? So we have to get rid of that belief, because it impacts your actions. Change your mindset, change your reality. And that is what today is. Look for the gap. Now, if you happen to live in an area where there's very little yoga, that's the gap. When I started teaching in Southampton 15 years ago, there wasn't much yoga. Yoga was the gap. Now there's a lot of yoga here, but the people that leave my teacher training still go on and get sold out yoga classes, because they know how to find the gap and what to offer to the gap. And that's what we're going to do. So to help find the gap, I'd like you to put yourself into a beginner's mindset. Why? Because if you are establishing a new yoga class, and we will also be looking at those of you that already have yoga classes and looking for different offerings, but if you're looking to establish a new yoga class, it is highly likely that you will attract beginners. Because if someone's not a beginner, they're probably going to a class. And why would we be trying to attract someone away from a class and to ours? They might want to do a second class a week. That would be great. They might be an experienced yoga student that's relocated to the area. That's going to be great. But the majority of people that go to a new class are a beginner or someone that hasn't been practicing for a while. So to attract beginners or people returning to the yoga practice, you need to put yourself into their mindset. Why you started yoga and why you do yoga today are probably two very different reasons. And you might find that you use language and you market your yoga more based around what it's bringing to you now. And that might be intimidating, not accessible, or not what a beginner is looking for. So for me, I started yoga when I was 16 because I didn't do any other exercise and I didn't like wearing trainers. It's a very, very vain 16-year-old and I didn't want to wear trainers. And yoga was a way I could exercise without having to put trainers on. Okay. Do I practice yoga as an exercise form 20 odd years later? No. To me now, yoga is a spiritual and a philosophical practice. And that's what I'm predominantly there for. But if I marketed my classes now to beginners as all on the spiritual and the philosophy, they might not be ready for that yet. It's a journey. Some are, but not all. If someone wants to come to my yoga for an exercise class, they are most welcome to come. And over time, yoga might offer them more. So it's very important that you return to a beginner's mindset. So you'll probably do this work as homework afterwards, but why did you start yoga? Can you remember? And again, let's, for all of our learning, add some words to the chat so we can see the different reasons people started yoga. So me, exercise, I didn't need to wear trainers for. It makes me so embarrassed. Okay. Community, exercise, anxiety, exercise. Want to try a new class at the gym. Spend time with my dad, Lisa, I loved that. Needed stillness, flexibility, had a bad back. Now, I suggest you, stress relief, really look at these words because these are the words that should go into our marketing. And none of us are using complicated words. Debbie, health reasons. Okay? We're using simple words, not flowery. I know we all love ChatGPT nowadays, but my God, it's flowery language. It overcomplicates things when you could have just said it in 2 words. So when we're communicating with beginners, you've got to be using these words: community, exercise, flexibility, space, stress relief, better health. Okay? What were your expectations? Again, really important to remember that. And this comes into the community customer service aspect so that you can meet your students' expectations. Do you remember how daunting it was going to your first yoga class? Was anybody nervous, anxious, intimidated, walking into a group? You know, I've had January newbies this week. Don't know if anyone else has had January newbies. And you see how daunting it is. And I make sure I go right to the front door. I say hi. I introduce myself by name. I introduce them to the person on the mat next to them. I tell them what to expect. So get yourself back in that beginner's mindset. What were you looking for? What appealed to you when you were looking at marketing and what repelled you? When you were looking at different websites or when you saw posters, what appealed and what intimidated you? Okay. And why did you choose certain classes and certain teachers? And remember that beginner is different to where you are now. And it works the other way as well. You know, I'm going the wrong way. I run a lot of courses that are deep dives, philosophy, spirituality, and they're not for beginners. Yeah, so I really use a shift of language there. So your language is very important. Okay. Time, location, convenient. Yeah, Julie. Now, market research. Always doing market research, but most people get market research wrong. Okay? Most people do market research to fit in. I really remember someone I was mentoring saying, oh, I teach 90-minute classes because she really likes the philosophy, she really likes the meditation, she really likes the pranayama. She wanted to include a lot more than just asana and really give it time. And she said, but I've looked in my local area and I've noticed everybody else's classes are 60 minutes. So I'm going to cut my classes down to 60 minutes so that she could fit in. And that was the absolute opposite to what she needed to do. She needed to tease out why her classes were different because they were 90 minutes. What added learning and value and benefit were the students going to get from those extra 30 minutes, and market that. So she stood out. So we do market research to learn, to differentiate, also so we can collaborate. Yoga teachers are other friends. I'm sorry to call Leanne out again, but she was just WhatsApping me before this session. So it's like right in my mind. But Leanne said she's moved to a new area. She bumped into her neighbor, and Leanne's wanting to do chair yoga. And the neighbor said, oh, I heard some people in the library saying the chair yoga class has closed. And, and Leanne's like, great opportunity. I'm like, you need to get that yoga teacher's phone number or email and contact them. Say, I understand you've just closed your chair yoga class. I've just moved to Lincoln. I'd love to go for a cup of coffee, get to know you, and maybe she'll share Leanne's details with her students that she's closed the class on. So always looking to make relationships collaborate. We do not compete with other yoga teachers. They are our best friends in the making. All my best friends are yoga teachers in my local area. Okay, so what are you doing when you are doing market research? First of all, I want you to look at all spaces that are locally available. And this includes whether you're going to set up a workshop, whether you're going to run a day retreat. I want you to look at all spaces that are available locally and at what times. What you don't do is go, I want to teach 7 p.m. Monday, contact all the halls and find availability for 7 p.m. Monday. Just get the big picture. What are all the spaces in your local area, and what times do they have? Even if you couldn't do that time, just get the big picture. Then what styles of yoga are being taught? And not just yoga, what else is going on? Slimming World, Zumba, Scouts, everything, a real big picture of what's going on in the community. Then, specifically with the yoga, look at what the demographics of the local area look like versus the class. And this is especially if you live somewhere where you feel that the yoga might be saturated. Go to the classes and see what the demographic, what age, what level of fitness, what mobility, what gender, what is happening in that class in demographics. Then go and look in your local area, walk down the high street, go to the supermarket and see what the demographic of the local area is, and if that is served in the yoga classes. And what you will probably find is that the yoga classes tend to be people that are able-bodied, active, on the slimmer build, usually like mid-20s to 60s. Okay. Usually female heavy, not so many men, unfortunately. Now go and compare that to the demographic of the village or the area, and you'll find there's people of all ages, all sizes, all physical abilities, all limitations, all genders, all needs, and they're not being served by the yoga. Then work out who is not being served. Okay. And it doesn't have to be so obvious as on the physicality. It might be that you notice that all the yoga classes in your local area are very heavy on the exercise form, and there isn't much that's on philosophy, on spirituality. 1 week last year, I think it's maybe in November, I had 3 new students in 1 week. They'd all relocated to the area, and each of them I said, oh, what brought you to my classes? And also we looked on your website and it looks like you're much more interested in the spirituality and the philosophy, so that's why we came to your class. Okay? Because it's different to the exercise-based classes. So have a look, see what or who is not being served, what interests are not being served. And then dare to be different. Okay. I love this photo. You can tell I had no idea it was being taken. And just look at the smile on my face, the people around me. That was a moment of pure joy. This was running a yoga festival for my community. Everybody there was in my community. They dressed up. The girl behind me does not normally dress like that. She dressed like that because it was a festival, and it was a day where we were just all ourselves. Be you, dare to be different. Don't fit in. Don't hide your personality. Be you. Like Danny, you have fabulous interest in the Celtic approach, the Wheel of the Year. Bring you in. Don't hide that. Don't fit in. Don't strip away what makes you you. Yoga is for everyone. And until everyone is served, this is not a saturated area and everyone is not served. But you are not for everyone, and not everyone is for you. Surround yourself with people who light you up, people you are passionate to teach. I have been teaching my community for 15 years. I adore them. The relationship is so deep. I see them every week for 15 years. I don't see my mum that often. You know, be you, find your people. This goes for your marketing, your images. I remember when my husband first saw me use this image on something, he was like, why are you putting that image out, Laura? You've got a massive double chin. I was like, because that joy is me. It's me, okay? So your job is not to fit in. Your job is to stand out. What do you love about yoga? And bring that in. I love storytelling. I love philosophy. I am a musician. I love singing. I love astrology. All of that comes into my class. And if you want that smorgasbord, you'll love my classes. If you don't, you'll hate them. And then you can go to my friend. Okay? So what do you love about yoga? Bring it all in. Don't strip yourself back to fit in. Why do you teach yoga? Those of you that said for community, how are you cultivating community in that classes? Monday, we were all early to class because it was a new venue. And we all sat there and I said to everyone, because I haven't seen for 4 weeks, what was the most interesting and unusual thing that happened to you in the last 4 weeks? And they all went round the circle. Rather than us just sit there quietly waiting for start time, cultivate the community. What big changes has yoga brought to your life? How can you bring that into your classes? The spirituality and philosophy of yoga has changed my life. And I weave that through everything I do. What aspects of yoga do you most love to teach? Bring that in. If you teach in a gym, no more of this, oh, the gyms don't like philosophy. Oh, shush. I used to go to a gym. I love philosophy. No more stripping yourself out to fit in. Okay? Bring all of you. What aspects of yoga do you love to teach? What outside of yoga are you passionate about that you can bring in? Bring your full-hearted soul. Then you bring the two of these things together. We bring you and the gap together, and then you serve and thrive. Easiest way to do. Bring the gap, bring you together, and this is how we do it. So first of all, we're thinking, what are the type of people you like to be around? Who would most benefit from what you have to share? So that's bringing those two together. As we just discussed, what does the local demographic look like at your class times and venue? Is the gap, the people that aren't having yoga being served? Where is that gap? And what are the needs of the people in that gap? So we bring you, the gap, the community together, and you get this beautiful merging. Okay. So that is the first pillar for today, really changing your mindset on serve and thrive. Okay? Real relationships, real people. Yoga is not saturated. We need that mindset shifted. We start looking for the gap. We don't fit in. We bring our wholehearted self to it. So that is a lot of background soul searching work. I hate doing this work. When people ask me to do it, I roll my eyes. But we have to do it. We have to do the soul searching. Okay. So you're going to do your soul searching because you're going to win the prizes. Now, if you're like me, I'm like, I never win anything. Sod the prize. You win by doing the homework. Okay. You win by doing the homework. So do the homework, even if you think I never win anything, do the homework and you might just win. So you can win a live coaching call with me, a website audit, a free on-demand training, a membership of the Yoga Warriors. You've got to get your homework into the Yoga Teacher Collaborative Facebook group. do it each day. I'll put up a homework post and you just tag it in that. And have finished your homework by 12 p.m. on the 21st of January to be selected for the prizes. One of my dates doesn't work there. What's the date on Sunday? 19th, 12 p.m. Sunday the 19th. Okay. So I'm going to give you your little bonus for being here live today, and your live tomorrow bonus is the photography. But as you know, just to keep in the back of your mind, if you don't want to do any of this together, we can do it in a 12-week mentorship course. I'll tell you more about that later. I only run my mentorship course once a year. So it's now or 2026. I think that's it. Yes, let me go get you the link for being here live. You can do tech, Laura. Share. Copy. Okay, so open the chat and copy and paste out that link. Okay. And that is for you. It's not going to go on a replay or anywhere else, that link, because it's only by seeing your face here I know that you were live. So that was a lot of information today. Ask questions in the Facebook group. Put your homework in the Facebook group. I'll be really present over the next 3 days while also trying to buy a house. Keep your fingers crossed. And those of you on the inner circle, we will start in 15 minutes time. Inner circle is about 5 or 6 of us, where you can ask your questions one-to-one. If you can't do the date, you just WhatsApp me. You can still come join the inner circle. So if you have questions and you want one-to-one support, so obviously can't one-to-one support 100 of you here, there's the link to the inner circle. So it starts at 2 o'clock. And it will just be small group to troubleshoot and personalize any questions. If you can't do the time, you just get to WhatsApp me the questions and I voice note you back. Was today okay? You feel okay? Yeah? All righty. I do know I'm an intense human. An intense and a fast speaker, but you'll get the slides, you've got the workbook, you're going to go do your homework, regardless of whether you think you win prizes. Okay? And we're heart-led. All right, my loves. I'm going to go check my phone and see if I've had a reply from the estate agent. I bet not. I will see you tomorrow, 2 p.m., 1 p.m., 1 p.m., 1 p.m., 1 p.m. tomorrow. Bye for now.